Hari. Gopijana vallabho girivaradhari. Gopijana vallabho girivaradhari. Yashodanandana braja janaranjana. Yashodanandana braja janaranjana. Jamuna tira vannachari. Jamuna tira vannachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Gopijana vallabha girivaradhari. Yashodanandana braja janaranjana. Jamuna tira vannachari. Jaya Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parimarajakacharya Astotra Sattasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Gop Gopinath Syamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Yamuna Devi Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai. New Dwarka Dhama Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya desha tarane. We are assembled here in the Western World Headquarters of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON Los Angeles, New Dwarka. We are going to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, the third canto, the status quo, chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. Today's shloka is text number 6. Is that correct? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evaṁ parābhidhyānena kartṛtvam prakṛteḥ pumān karmasu kriyamāṇeṣu guṇair ātmani manyate evaṁ parābhidhyānena kartṛtvam prakṛteḥ pumān karmasu kriyamāṇeṣu guṇair ātmani manyate evaṁ parābhidhyānena kartṛtvam prakṛteḥ pumān karmasu kriyamāṇeṣu guṇair ātmani manyate evaṁ parābhidhyānena kartṛtvam prakṛteḥ pumān karmasu kriyamāṇeṣu guṇair ātmani manyate. Please chant. Ladies, Anyone else? Evam, in this way, para, other, abhidhyānena, by identification, kartṛtvam, the performance of activities, prakṛteḥ, of the material nature, pumān, the living entity, karmasu, kriyamāṇeṣu, while the activities are being performed, guṇair, by the three modes, ātmani, to himself, manyate, he considers. Kindly respond. Because of his forgetfulness, the transcendental living entity accepts the influence of material energy as his field of activities, and thus actuated, he wrongly applies the activities to himself. Purport by the founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. The forgetful living entity can be compared to a man who was under the influence of disease and has become mad, or to a man haunted by ghosts who acts without control and yet thinks himself to be in control. Under the influence of material nature, the conditioned soul becomes absorbed in material consciousness. In this consciousness, whatever is done under the influence of the material energy is accepted by the conditioned soul as self-actuated. Actually, the soul in his pure state of existence should be in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. When a person is not acting in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, he is understood to be acting in material consciousness. Consciousness cannot be killed, for the symptom of the living entity is consciousness. The material consciousness simply has to be purified. When one becomes liberated by accepting Kṛṣṇa, or the Supreme Lord, as master, and by changing the mode of consciousness from material consciousness to Kṛṣṇa consciousness. In studying for today's class, when I looked at this and the purport, I was reminded of several verses that we already studied in the first canto. This was when Narada Muni was instructing Vyasadeva to compile Srimad Bhagavatam. And these verses here are very, very instructive because it gets to the root of what is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So I want to read the 3 shlokas from the first canto. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male apashyat purushang purnang mayang cha tad apashrayam. So this is Sutta Goswami speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya. Thus, Vyasadeva fixed his mind, perfectly engaging it by linking it in devotional service, bhakti yoga, without any tinge of materialism. And thus Vyasadeva saw the absolute personality of Godhead, along with his external energy, which was under full control. Yaya sammohito jiva ātmanang tri gunātmakam paropi manute nartang tat krtang jabhipadyate. Due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature, thinks of himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. anartopashamang sakshad bhakti yogam adhokshaje lokasya janato vidvangsh chakre satvata sanghitam. The material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is in relation to the supreme truth. And there's one more. Yasyang vai shruyamanayang Kṛṣṇe parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate pungsa shoka moha vayapaha. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Trinadapi sunichena toror eva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Harer nama iva kivalam klau nastyeva gatir anyata. And since I'm in the association of nice devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyayevacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, I don't live in a temple. I'm in between several temples. So when I come into the association of devotees, it's actually very, very special. You may not perceive it because you're devotees and you're humble. But sitting here, I'm so fortunate to be in your association. Thank you. And somehow or other, here we are, 2024, and this temple is still thriving. I consider that a miracle, especially when I think about things that are going on in the world now and things that could be coming down the pike. The fact that we have this oasis in the desert. Those of you here who are maintaining this institution, you're glorious, super glorious. I was telling someone, was it yesterday? No, on Thursday I was with somebody. And I was remembering different things. And one of those things was that one of the most important things I'm trying to learn, I'm not going to say I've learned, but if there's anything I can say that has been the secret of my tiny little success, is that just try to be humble. I have a god brother, Paritrik Anandadas. Some of you know Paritrik. We know each other since I came to LA in '83. And we have I would say, a healthy relationship. There's no patronizing. And whenever he sees me, of course now he's in Alachua, but whenever he would see me, we would always joke. He would say, and just try not to be puffed up. And I like that he kept me in check. Because my nature is, yes, I'm so puffed up. That's my nature. That was one of the excuses Duryodhana gave several times when he was challenged about his demeanor. He said, God made me this way. I am who I am. But that's not Krishna consciousness. Yes, we've acquired a certain nature, all of us, over millions and millions of lifetimes. We've developed a certain material nature. But Krishna consciousness is about changing. Changing in the sense that was mentioned. Material consciousness has to be purified. And we get to and this is such an important point, and something that Prabhupada repeats over and over again. Our original consciousness. We have an original consciousness. Why? Because we've always existed. When I first began to appreciate that statement, the real meaning of eternality, for instance, in the Catholic religion that I was raised, you are actually born at a certain date, but from that day forward, you're eternal. That's their philosophy. But my understanding, correct me, according to what I've read, we've always existed. Bhagavad Gita says, for the soul, there is no birth, there is no death. So our conception of eternality of the soul is always. We've always been an individual. Now we wake up to find that we're, oh my God, I have a material body? Ugh, what a drag. And as you get older, you realize that this body is a drag. When you're young and you can run and jump and do, like I used to tell people, I used to eat when I was young 3 Sunday feast plates easily. And 3 plates like this. Now I can barely finish 1. Yes. So let's look at today's verse little by little. Because of his forgetfulness, Kapila Dev is instructing his mother on this philosophy, the original Sankhya philosophy. So this forgetfulness, we learn from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am the cause of forgetfulness. But this forgetfulness, we also have to understand our part of the deal. In other words, it's not that Krishna or God is indiscriminately, all right, you forget, no. We indicated to Krishna, at some point, we indicated to Krishna that I would like to be independent. I would like to do what I want to do. And then Krishna says, okay, but not here in the spiritual world. I have to create a playpen for you. Children, when they're small, they have what is called a playpen. They can run and round and do things, but it's confined. Because if you give a child roam in the house, so many dangerous things could happen. So the young child's put in a playpen, restriction. That is the material world, from top to bottom. It's one big playpen. Yes, we are learning, and we will learn in the 5th canto, all the different categories of the playpen. Some nice, some in between, like Earth, not too good, not too bad. And then the lower planetary systems. But we're still prisoners. What is like Prabhupada would say, you can tell the prisoner because he's wearing that suit, orange jumpsuit. And when they sometimes escape, that's the first thing they do. Because they know as soon as they're spotted, they're not taken as brahmacharis. No, they're taken as criminals. Oh, you see the suit? So the first thing they do is they want to look like everybody else, so they're not detected. So what is our prison suit? Your material body. That's our prison. And so our forgetfulness is that actually I'm the eternal servant of God. That is original consciousness. That is pure consciousness. I'm the eternal servant of God. And my purpose of existence is to develop love. You all know, you've heard it 1,000 times. I asked that question of Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? And he said, if you love or when you love Kṛṣṇa. And that's the best answer. That is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Learning how to love Kṛṣṇa. But the conditioned soul wants to forget that I'm the eternal servant of Kṛṣṇa. That's why we have come here, to forget that. And Kṛṣṇa obliges. Yes, I'll help you. I used to always say, yes, it was Kṛṣṇa dictating to Kamsa within his heart how to be a demon. Same way with Hiranyakashipu. It was Kṛṣṇa in facilitating Hiranyakashipu's desire. Hiranyakashipu's desire, I want to be supreme. Therefore Kṛṣṇa said, okay, I will help you. So our forgetfulness is, I don't want to be your servant. I want to be served. Everybody should serve me. That's the material consciousness. Bhoktaram yagyatapasang sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatva shantam richati. I use this verse to explain the three things that you could say determine who is God. God has to be the supreme enjoyer. God also has to be the supreme proprietor. And the one that I like the best, God is your supreme friend. That aspect of this philosophy really excites me. That I have a dearmost friend sitting within me. My friends may abandon me, my wife may abandon me, but Kṛṣṇa is always there, always, and is waiting for us to turn to him. And all we have to do is call out, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The transcendental living entity accepts the influence of material energy as the field of activities. That's it. That's what's going on. Everyone in the material world, what does Bhagavad Gita teach? You're struggling in the material world. What are you struggling with? The mind and the 5 knowledge-acquiring senses. That's the whole nutshell right there. We take this material energy manifestation, this is our field of activities. And what are we doing? Wasting time. But Krishna consciousness means, no, you are meant to use your senses. You are meant to engage your mind. Don't struggle with them. Use them to serve Krishna. That is the simple definition of Bhakti Yoga. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. That with your senses, serve the master of the senses, Krishna, God. Everyone else in the material world is utilizing their senses for their own sense gratification, accepting and the influence. We're being influenced by the mode of ignorance, by the mode of passion, sometimes by the mode of goodness. But we're still under the influence. Like they have this expression that a man was caught driving under the influence, meaning he had taken too much intoxication and was trying to drive an automobile. It's a big, very big offense. Can have serious consequences. But we're under the influence of the three modes of material nature. We are also under the influence. So Krishna consciousness means don't come under the influence of the material energy. Regain your original, pure, spiritual status. Original, meaning we are meant to serve Krishna. And that is what this movement is all about. How to regain our original position as eternal servant of Krishna, which in the material world we forget. But Prabhupada is mentioning, I was just reading, how the sleeping man, there's only one sense that can wake the sleeping man, sound. There's even a Vedic mantra about waking up via spiritual sound, Uttishta Jagrata. Lord Chaitanya in that song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jeev Jago, get woke, wake up sleeping souls. That's how Lord Chaitanya would go through the streets of Nadia. Lord Chaitanya was, you could say, a revolutionary. He would be going out in the morning and wake up. You've slept too long. Slept too long under the influence of these modes of nature. And Bhagavad Gita teaches the material energy is the inferior energy. We're cheating ourselves. If you're given the choice, you want something inferior or do you want something superior? You want $1 or 1,000? Do you want, how shall we say, bread and butter or samosa? You get a choice. So the material energy is inferior. But in Bhagavad Gita, arhati, that word is used, arhati, you deserve. Krishna told Arjuna, you do not deserve to lament. You're an illusion, but you do not deserve this lamentation. So, actually, we don't deserve our rightful claim, our rightful inheritance is the spiritual energy. So, the message of Krishna consciousness, wake up and get reacclimated. And it's all done by spiritual sound. This class is spiritual sound. This chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra on japa, spiritual sound. When we go out for preaching, whether it be Nam Sankirtan or some preaching program, sound vibration, Shabda Brahma, spiritual sound vibration. And that is meant to wake ourselves up and others. Because when you join this movement, basically you are saying, I have declared war on this inferior energy. War. And like Arjuna, we are meant to engage in the battle. And it's easy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. One time, I think it was 1976, I was on a traveling Sankirtan party somewhere in this country. And I had a young, new brahmachari under my wing. Very sincere boy, very sincere. You know him, Janardhan, Yamunapati. So he was brand new, and I took him under my wing. So we were at one parking lot, Target or whatever, shopping center. And at some point in the day, he came to me and said, Prabhu, I'm not fired up. I don't know. I don't have it today. My mind is disturbed. I said, okay, this is what I told him. Go behind the store and at the top of your lungs, cry out to Kṛṣṇa. He did it, got fired up, went back out on book distribution. And so many devotees have stories. I have my own story of being accosted with a gun or a knife. Give me your money. And I asked my godbrother, what do I do? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And the guy ran away. I had just joined the temple. Just joined it, and I said to him, wow, this mantra really works. And throughout my life, we've all had that. Every one of us has had that. What am I talking about? That proverbial, you're in between a rock and a hard place. We all come to that at some point in our journey. And it's been my experience. When that time comes, that's my best japa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And lo and behold, before long, the solution is there. Haribol. Thank you very much. Now we can have some discussion. Anybody want to? Okay, Rabindranath has his hand raised.
So you mentioned about being under the influence of the three modes of material nature. I can understand how it's really bad to be under passion, ignorance, but what's the problem with being under the mode of goodness?
The problem with the mode of goodness is that it is not sufficient to give you liberation. In the mode of goodness, you still come back to the material world. So if you can come back as a very exalted human being or demigod, or even go to higher planets. The higher planets are in the mode of goodness. But when you fully understand this philosophy, you realize, again, I don't want to get cheated. I don't want something inferior. We want the superior thing. And the superior thing is what Prabhupada said in New York when he was giving a purport to the song Jai Radha Madhav. And he said, the goal of this Krishna consciousness movement is to become one of the gopi janas. So, how do you want the best thing, or like, I don't know, you probably have, some of us have. You're buying a car. So the car dealer, you know, whatever you want, he'll give you. But if you want the top end, right, then you have to be willing to pay the bakshish. So it requires full commitment, total surrender to reach the superior goal. Choice is yours. You have free will. Okay?
Could you say that the problem with the goodness is in the material world it's not pure?
Yes, it isn't. It's purer than the other two, but pure goodness is Krishna consciousness. That's what Lord Shiva told his wife Sati. I always love to talk about that verse whenever there is some class I have to give about Lord Shiva, where Lord Shiva says, I am always in Krishna consciousness. And Krishna consciousness is pure consciousness. And it's pure goodness. Because, yes, the mode of goodness still has some defect, some imperfect, it's material, inferior. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay, wait. We will handle all the questions.
Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for a wonderful class, which inspired me to want to say one or two things in regard to my own spiritual activities. My best or my most joyful, my most happy experiences as a devotee were those when I was chastised, when I was knocked down, when I was made to feel inferior, when I was made to feel stupid, small, and anything that I did not believe I was. So, why that? And the very opposite was true. So, when I was, as I just said, when I was chastised, that was my big day. When I was applauded, that was my bad day. And that was because I came to believe that I was important, I was valuable, I was superior, I was excellent. So in the first instance, I came to realize not only that I was worthless in comparison to what I could become, but that I had it all wrong. I should never even think of myself as important, as great, as glorious. Don't believe the praises. Don't believe the honorable stuff. If it's true, let it be true, but I'm not going to believe it, because if I believe it, then I'm going to be thinking that I have nowhere to go. I'm already up there, you see. So that's why I have always tried to not remember. It's very difficult to forget praises and honors and glorifications and applauds. It's easy to forget the chastisements. It's easy to forget the snubs and the things which are not so pleasant. But Prabhupada teaches us that when you actually come to like those things, because those are the things that will make you strive, will make you try harder, will make you overcome the things that are actually holding you back from love of Kṛṣṇa. If you get those things, and you're going to go up even though you're being put down, doesn't matter. The main thing is the ultimate result. And Prabhupada made it very clear, don't be so happy when you're applauded. Don't be so happy when you are spoken well of. And after the class, when people come up to you and say, that was such a great class, in your heart of hearts you can say, if it was, or even outwardly you can say, if you think it was great, that's because Kṛṣṇa is great. And Kṛṣṇa's greatness simply manifested to you and to me as well. And so let us both applaud Kṛṣṇa, period. Haribol.
Jai. Mataji, did you have your hand raised? No? Okay. Then I guess all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Nirantara ki.
Yes. I will follow your instructions.